Good evening. I'm Joyce Beverly. I'm the publisher of Fayette Woman, and I am so excited to be with you tonight. We've got a great group of people joining us, and we're going to be talking about how to simplify your holidays. Or as my friend Jeanne Hewell-Chambers says, the holidays, D-A-Z-E. What do you guys think about that? It can be crazy. Thank you for joining us. Listen, we are going to go through some tips in a lot of different areas for how to simplify your holidays. If you have suggestions, please post them in the comments. We're going to come by and notice those and mention them as we go along. So first, I want to introduce you to everyone who's joined us here tonight. I'm going to start with Pam over there. All right, Pam was on the cover of Fayette Woman in December of 2010. She's the former executive director of AV Pride, and she is currently pursuing a new career as an author and a coach and a consultant. Pam, tell me what your days are like right now.
Very busy. Whenever you're launching something new, there's a lot of prep work involved. There's a lot of connections that need to be made, a lot of just everything. So my days are actually a little busier than they were when I was formerly working.
Stop.
Yes, and some travel as well. It's been good.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, we're going to talk more about this in a little bit.
Okay.
Peggy, what are you up to these days? Peggy was on the cover of Fayette Woman in January of 2012.
Yes.
At the time, she was the owner of Club Z Tutoring. She has retired from that and is helping a whole lot of people do a whole lot of things right now, including she's serving on the board of Clothes Less Traveled and the 70273 Project.
And I'm empty nesting, I must say. So we had one come home and then it's gone again. And so we're remodeling our house, which has taken up quite a bit of my time lately. And I would also say that you think you can sit around and read books and stuff when you're retired, but I haven't really found that I have a lot of extra time yet. If I figure that out, I'll let you know.
But
you're going to read my book.
I am going to read your book, as a matter of fact. I just, actually, before you came in, it said, oh my gosh, I haven't read that book yet. So
I can tell you it is as difficult to squeeze yourself into Peggy's calendar as it is to anybody's I know. So, yeah. Beverly.
Yes.
Beverly Thomas, on my right here. We're going to call these the Thomas sisters, okay? Beverly is the vice president of Grandparents and Kin Raising Children. She's here tonight representing that organization, and Karen Gillespie, who can't be here with us tonight. Tell us about what you're up to these days, Beverly.
It's been a whirlwind.
Because you are also retired.
I am also retired after 42 years of federal government service and contracts, and I thought that in retirement and volunteering a little bit, I'd get a rest. I have never worked so hard in all my life as a volunteer.
I'm going to keep working.
I am a volunteer extraordinaire, and Grandparents and Kin Raising Children has been one of my primary volunteer efforts. And so just finishing a Christmas party for the families and their children this past Friday.
I heard that was wonderful.
Awesome event. Santa showed up. It was Christmas bingo, you name it, the kids choir. It was really...
You had 100 people or more, right?
More.
Right.
More,
what a great event.
And we had a great time. And here we go. We're still on it. We're getting ready for next year already. So
and helping these families get ready for the holidays.
Helping the families get ready. The churches have been joining in so many wonderful ways, providing gifts, and the community has been joining in different ways.
That's
so
great.
We've been real busy. We're still very busy. Santa hasn't gotten here just yet. So
I'll ask you about this again, but while we're talking about it, how can people help some of the grandparents and kin who are raising children at this time of year? What can they do?
At this time of year, any support in terms of a donation, it's kind of like adopt a family. You can adopt a kin if you want to, the children by age or group if you want to. I'll share later our email address, our address, our phone number.
Okay, great.
Any way that you want to.
Great.
We're willing and accepting. Thank you.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. And Jeanne Hewell-Chambers. Jeanne is joining us on a video call from up on the mountain in North Carolina. We are going to keep her on video as long as the signal is not too dicey. If it gets dicey, we might just put a picture of her up. Jeanne, tell us what you're up to these days. Jeanne is the founder of the 70273 Project, and she was on the cover of Fayette Woman in May of 2011. Am I right? Something like that. Okay. So tell us what you're up to, Jeanne.
Well, you mean as far as 70273 Project?
Anything you want to talk about, Jeanne.
Okay, well,
And we're going to circle back around to the project, too, though, so
okay, good. Then,
don't tell me
well,
everything.
And then, like everybody else there, I've got family, and I've got family, and I've got family. And,
well, that's a blessing.
the dog died a year ago, so, but everybody else is alive and well, and then need a, I got.
And they all need to come to your house for Christmas, right? Something
They're
like
all
that?
coming up here for Christmas.
Okay, all right.
Christmas.
Well, that is
And I've got Nancy and my mother who need, special kinds of help now. So
yeah,
life is full and life is really, really good.
that's awesome. So we're going to talk more about all these issues and situations and your organizations as we go along. And you gave me a great segue. So, guys, I don't live in the Hallmark movie. I don't live in the Hallmark movie. We're going to talk about how we can simplify our schedules, gift giving, entertaining, obligations, travel, and more, while preserving meaningful traditions and creating memories that we can hold on to for a lifetime. So I want to know, if you're watching, if you have suggestions or tips or want to share things that you do, we want to hear about them. In the comments, let us know. I'm going to dive into our first topic. Ladies, I did a little web surfing today, and I ran across a blog that I love called No Sidebar, written by a lady named Rebecca Cooper. Rebecca suggests that you don't invite the spirit of Christmas by doing more. You invite the spirit of Christmas by doing less.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I thought so.
Mm.
She suggests that you limit your to-dos. Ask yourself if this will add meaning or if it adds peace or takes away peace when you're deciding what to do. She suggests you plan ahead, but it is December 11th, so it's kind of too late for that. That you spend less and do less, get your family on board, and remember your why. So let's start with the schedule. Pam, what do you do when you're deciding what to do during the holidays?
Well, the first thing I do is I have to make a budget for my holidays. My budget determines what I'm going to do, what the line items are, and everything. And I think that by setting a budget, you make a decision in advance, how much you're going to spend.
Yes.
I mean, so many people are really strapped for cash. And there are people who feel just that it's very stressful to have to buy gifts during Christmas. And I think that for me, if I've got my budget all set, and I know what my line items are, which are very simple. I have very few line items. We don't buy gifts for everyone because that's really not what the season's about, right? It's more about giving. It's more about experiences. So we pick an organization to serve. We pick some dates and some times of some places that we'll meet and be and do some things for other people. But a big part of the budget, though, too, is deciding what our food budget is going to look like in the way of the Christmas meal and whatever entertainment we're going to do. It's also about having a few teens come in to help with some cleaning.
Oh, where do you find those?
Well, but here's the great thing. I mean, teens need cash as well. And so you got your kids or your neighbor's kids. And there's some very responsible teens out there that wouldn't mind helping clean a little bit. Have a few dollars budgeted for that. And also, too, you can just decide that, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and splurge and get myself a gel manicure. Because when you have a gel manicure, it lasts
the whole month.
Exactly. And
you have to time it pretty
I'm just
well.
saying,
It's
it's a thing. You look good, you look professional during the day, and you can look elegant in the evening when you've got your gel manicure. So you budget a little bit for that. So it's the little things that make a difference. I don't have to worry about my nails. I don't have to worry about the food. I don't have to worry about the gifts. It's just something that if you do on the front end, it just, to me, it just makes it a lot simpler.
Okay. So, in order to tame your schedule, You think it all starts with your budget, and then you can decide, well, am I going to that because it is in my budget? If it costs me money,
That's
it's
right.
in my budget.
That's
Okay,
right.
great.
And do I even have the time? And
Right.
and not for
'Cause
nothing.
budgeting time is money.
Absolutely. It certainly is. And it's, you just want to spend more time, as much time as you can, with your family. And when you're doing things with your family and you're serving together, I mean, my church, we do a lot of things. Actually, this Friday is our holiday party, and we're all just, invested in the decorating and the entertainment and just all those things. That's time. And you make those decisions in advance. People know back in October what's going to happen during the holiday season. Your calendar starts to fill up.
Yes.
Look at that and your budget. You've got a nice clear picture. At least to me, you got a nice clear picture of what you should be doing.
So in your consulting services, do you offer this service to people?
I offer.
Don't overlook.
I've helped a lot of people manage their time, and I've helped a lot of people start some things that they've been just dreaming about. So it's been good. Oh yeah, sounds good.
Okay, Jeanne, up on the mountain, we're not going to forget about you. So tell me now, what do you do to tame your schedule?
Well, the way I look at it, I started this several years ago. I give my family the opportunity to make good memories and to learn new skills by helping out. So I write down everything that needs to be done, and I put it on a little slip of paper, and I put it in this beautiful bow that I spent too much money for because I didn't have a budget plan. And it's not a Christmas goal. It stays that all year round, so we can amortize and go that direction. But anyway, everybody draws a little slip out of paper, and they got to do what's on the slip. And it's everything from setting the table to cleaning the table to cooking a particular part of the meal to planning what we're going to have for a meal to making out the grocery list for their menu to decorating the table. I mean,
I like it.
That's the way I look at it.
So when nobody's looking, I can put the slip back in there if I don't like it and pick another one, right? Yeah.
You would, Joyce.
I would. All right, Beverly, what do you do?
Oh my goodness, thank goodness for the iPhone and the calendar that's on it, because if it were not for that, everything that occurs day by day, hour by hour, month to month, it's on there. And so I'm on that roller coaster of whatever's there. And I wish I were as organized as
I know.
Pam. Oh my gosh, that just sounds so great. But
It's a little type A.
It's a type A, but it's a grade A, and I need to have some more A in my schedule because I'm very flexible. And I think that's the part about being retired. I think I'm very flexible. And so
I think you are because you're here.
Yeah. And I try not to stress about the things that keep coming. You figure out ways to step back and relax, take a breath, and this too will pass.
Absolutely.
You just work at that, and that task is over, and you go to another one. I have several activities and organizations that I volunteer for, and they seem to all pull at you at the same time. So it's very important to fill that calendar up with the date, with the time, with who it's for, and prioritize, and in some cases even say no.
Absolutely.
Even say no. Find that time to get the gel nails for yourself.
That's it.
And relax. Get a massage in there too.
I like it.
And the schedule works.
Absolutely.
All right, Peggy, what do you do to tame the schedule?
Well, I've got a couple notes. So first of all, I want to tell you I'm a recovering yesaholic. I coined that T-shirt a few years
Yes,
ago,
you
and
did.
so
I
I
love
have
it.
definitely learned to say no to certain things. And then we've gone through, everybody goes through life, right? So we've had times when we couldn't do some of the things that I said. I noticed you said, I need to do something. A lot of times we just couldn't do things that we needed to do. And that's when we figured out as a family we didn't really need to do that stuff.
That's right.
So one thing that's probably not unique to our family in this community is that my husband travels on Christmas quite often. So one of the things that we as a family do for Christmas is when he gets his schedule for the whole month of December, now we have also young adult children to look at their schedules. I'm the retiree, so I'm open, but we sit down and we pick what day Christmas is going to be, because it needs to be a day. It doesn't have to be on that date. And we have done that for many, many years because Joe would be gone in the military. My husband's in the audience by the way. So
Yes,
I'm
we
looking
have a
over
live
here.
audience tonight.
Yes, so we
Yes,
do.
we're excited.
But so we just pick the day that we're going to hold it, and so then it works for all of us. And so typically, if the kids and I are home alone on Christmas Day, then we're in our PJs and we're eating comfort food, simple comfort food, watching movies and doing things. But then we just have Christmas either before or after. And I want to come back to budget for a second, because several years we have had Christmas after Christmas.
That's right.
And so
your budget goes so much
we
further.
go
Oh,
out and
so
shop.
much further,
We
yes.
shop on the 26th or 27th
Yes,
for
yes.
Christmas. It's on the 28th, and so
Yes, that's wonderful.
so we've done that before too. So
Great. All right, so I think that's everyone. I don't know. What do I do to tame my schedule? I planned shows about how to simplify holiday, and I invite 5 or 6 people to come. That's what I do. Okay. Then there's so many things I can't do. There's a lot of conflicts tonight. There were other things we could have been doing tonight, and I hated that I conflicted with some of them, but here we are.
Here you go.
Yeah. All right, next, and by the way, thank you, Ellen Britt. We have some comments here. Ellen has tuned in tonight. She says, "Hey, girls, you're looking great." And Tommy Boylan says one thing that he recommends is that we listen to FM Joy 93.3. It raises your spirits daily. It's a great station. Thank you, Tommy. So let's go to the next thing. Let's talk about gift giving. And we kind of have touched on that with Pam saying, hey, we don't do it all. We don't give gifts to everyone. Your family gets larger and larger, and at some point you have to recognize this isn't doable for anyone.
That's right.
So what are some things you do to simplify that?
We pick names. I mean,
I
we
love
decide.
that.
Yeah, we get together. It's kind of like, we have a meal and we just get together, and there's names in a basket, not as beautiful as the one Jean talks about, but we put a basket together and there are names in it, and you pick a name, and that's the person that you're going to give a gift to. So you're only really responsible for one gift. I, on the other hand, with a new grandbaby, have completely overdone it.
You've lost your
Yeah,
mind,
I have
haven't you?
completely lost my mind. My home office, there are boxes. They keep coming, and it's just So I've blown it.
Right.
Plus my budget this year. However, but the rest.
He's
of
the only one you have to give a present to.
Who are you telling? Who are you telling? But I got to tell you though, everyone really loves picking a name because they have time to think about it. It's a thoughtful gift. We do have a few rules. There are no gift cards. You can't just take the easy road. And I'm not suggesting that gift card is the easy road. A lot of people like that and do that. But it's a rule that you have to give some thought to it. You've got to, get out there and do something special for someone. And every year it is so incredibly meaningful when they open their gift. So that's what we do.
That is nice. So I'll just go ahead and tell you that a gift card, if you want to give me a gift card, it's okay.
That's right.
It's okay.
That's right. Williams-Sonoma would be nice.
Amazon works for me because I can do whatever.
There you go.
I just
Yes.
read somewhere on one of the pages on Facebook that is teacher's favorite gift.
Which one?
Is a
Amazon?
gift card.
Amazon or gift
Or
card?
just Amazon. Well, almost any gift card if it's something that that they like. Because
Okay.
they don't need any more mugs, or they don't need any more things that they
Any more wooden
appreciate
apples?
it. Any
Yes.
more wooden apples. Anyway, gift cards.
Okay, well, I want to give a shout out to Clothes Less Traveled right now, because if you do need a Christmas mug, I got these for 40 cents today. 40 cents.
Adorable.
Happy
holiday.
You could put some chocolate in here or some other little treats and a gift card, and boom. I mean, that's cheaper than wrapping paper.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Absolutely.
really nice. That's really nice.
Absolutely.
All right. Peggy, you had a story about gift giving. Did we cover that already?
No, and it was a whole shift in our family, I think. So my sister came to visit us, and the kids were they were teenagers. So during that time when they really wanted stuff, probably for Christmas. But I said, my sister Pat, who I don't know if she's out there, but she was coming to visit us, and I said, you know what, you guys, we're going to limit it this year because many of us are on a tight budget. So we're going to draw names between just the 5 of us, and you can only spend $25 in actual stuff, but you can give gifts of service or acts of service, and you can wrap those or put them in cards, and we'll put them on the tree or whatever. And so I actually have one of my favorite things that my sister brought me that year, which is a cheese grater that looks like, I think, an aardvark. I'm not quite sure. Maybe
Or a
it
turtle?
looks like a hedgehog.
I don't know. It's very cute. though.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's adorable. So I have that, and it lives in my kitchen all the time, and I still think very fondly of that Christmas because of that. And then that
And it
Christmas,
survived quite a bit of purging, so if it's still
yeah.
around,
Oh,
it's a
that
big,
is definitely true.
important
Downsizing. And then also this whisk became part of that gift giving, so it just looks like a little person. So,
Love it.
you know, we just gave fun gifts, but then we also gave gifts. Like my son, Kevin the critic, loves to watch movies, and so I gifted him 10 uninterrupted movies where I would sit with him and not answer the phone, not look at my phone, not do anything else. And that was a lovely gift for him. And so we just gave each other gifts of time or gifts of things that we could do for each other. And so now we still do that. And really, I don't think anybody has wanted to go back. It's
I
been
bet
just
you've gotten a lot of
wonderful
gifts
thing.
over the years you don't remember, but you remember this. That's
I
really
do remember
sweet.
that. So.
Can I just say something that I wouldn't have thought of, and it just really touched me when you said that? You know, it would be nice if when you're thinking about gift giving or whether it's acts or whatever it is, that you try to factor in what someone's love language is.
Yes.
If you
Right.
know their
That's
love
exactly
language,
right.
and that would be
That would be a
just
great
beautiful.
show all on its own.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's go through them. Okay. So first of all, there's acts of service, people who just, when they're lovely. Okay. What was his name? Gary, what's his name? Gary Chapman.
Chapman.
Who wrote the 5 love languages. And acts of service is one of them.
That's right.
Time.
Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation. Keep
Gifts.
going. Gifts. Some people just like gifts.
Exactly. And the last one is
Physical
touch,
touching.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at our crew.
I
They
know,
all
I
know.
love it.
Shout out to my
Very
holiday crew. Young
lucky
millennial men
lucky
who know
ladies.
the
Oh,
answers.
what?
That's
What?
awesome.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. And actually, I will say that I have a family member in my husband's family, and in fact, I know that this person's love language is gifts. And so I'm pretty careful to pick out a very special gift for that person because she's special to me. So.
All right, how about you?
Gift giving in our family has kind of transitioned from don't just wait till Christmas. If I need it now, or you need it now is the time. Christmas is not necessarily not to sound.
I got you.
think
I
it's
got
right.
you.
Promise.
That's
And
beautiful.
if you need it now, then I'd like to be able to help you with whatever that is now.
I like that.
Me too.
I like
We
that.
do more of that.
Okay, Jean. Okay, Jean has never in her life given anybody a gift that didn't have 50 layers of meaning and so much fancy wrapping. She's the queen of gifting. So, what is your thought about simplifying? Is this just a category we're not going to simplify?
Well, actually, I started a few years ago simplifying, and so here's what I do because I didn't have time to shop, and really up here on top of the mountain we have one grocery store, and that's the only place to shop. And while it's a great grocery store, you know, and so
I am not in New York anymore.
No, ma'am.
So I decided a couple of years ago that, and we live in what was originally a fishing shack, right? So it's not a great big house. And never mind about that, but my theory is a bunch of men built it, and then their wives said, well, you know, we want to see where y'all going every weekend. And they said, okay, we got to put it in the bathroom. And so it's that kind of thing that we're going to work on next year. But meantime, it's really small, and I don't have a lot of room. So about 2 years ago, my gifts became sort of downsizing, and so I would just tell the children, okay, y'all walk around and find something you want, and we're calling that, you know, Happy Holidays. And so far, they've only taken a ring and a pair of earrings and a necklace.
That wasn't what you had in mind.
No, I told them last year, I said, oh, y'all, that is so not what I had in mind. So this year I put size minimum requirements on it. So, you know, it's got to be at least this minimum size. But they get to go around and they get to pick whatever they want. And, you know, so that's my simplifying gift giving.
Hey,
I've been thinking, okay, I'm glad you brought that up,
know
because
they
I've been
like it.
thinking this year, I'm going to give people a lot of things that I already have that they might want, because why wait? And especially, I have a new grandson, and I still have toys that his dad and uncle had when they were growing up, and I'm just going to start giving them back to them. I mean, what the heck? If they have lasted this long, they were favorite toys.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to do some of
And
that.
that was really my reason, is that I am the keeper of all the family jewels, if you will.
Yeah.
Jewels.
Yes.
And so just let's go on and give it to them instead of just putting their name on the bottom. And then one day, and I got to dust it all the years in between because I'm going to live to be 128.
You are going to live to be 128.
Right, give it to them now.
So just go on and give it to them. They
Exactly.
get to
It's the now
enjoy it.
gifting.
I can tell them the story about it while I'm still here to tell them in person.
Right.
And, yeah.
Yes.
And then
like
I've
it.
got the space.
I like it, and you get to downsize. All right, that's an affirmation. Did I miss anybody there? Okay, I got everybody.
That was great. I wrote that down, Jean. It's a good one.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Joyce, sugar. My phone just gave me the I'm tired, so I'm going to run, get the cord and plug it in. Y'all just
Okay.
carry on.
All right. We'll be right here when you get
don't
back.
see me, that's where I am.
Okay, that's good.
Phone just gave me the
I'm
tired.
tired.
I like her.
You know, I forget that everyone doesn't already know her.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was
I know. I'm just like, that's so her. Okay. Let's talk about decorating. I am going to lead the decorating. Okay? I'm going to lead the decorating discussion. Here's my number one tip for how to stay on top of decorating. Okay? Leave your tree up. Leave it up. My tree has been up for 5 years.
Is this a live tree, Joyce?
No, it's not a live tree. It's not hurting anyone. And you would be amazed how many people come in and act like they just saw it at Christmas and it's been up all year. I don't know why this is so funny. Leave your tree up, people.
So I have done that. You just dust it off at the end of the year.
Sometimes.
That is
Yours is
funny.
white. You don't have to dust it.
Oh my gosh.
So that is my tip. And you know, so this year we put the wreath on the front door and the little candles in the upstairs windows. And at the moment that we were about to get in a fight about putting the lights on the porch, we just quit and went inside. so you know what? You don't have to do it all. This is
You
my
don't.
gift to you. I published a women's magazine. It has lots of beautiful pictures in it. You don't have to do all that stuff.
You don't. You don't.
Pam?
So yeah, you don't have to do all that stuff. And I got a couple things, just quick
Oh,
things.
Pam
here.
brought.
You
Pam
don't
brought.
have to do all that stuff,
Don't
but if
have
you
to,
want to.
No, well, but this is transitional stuff, right? So Peggy, I'm gonna ask
Okay.
you.
Oh.
This is
With
my.
sound effects.
This is the wreath that I use for Thanksgiving, right? So it's already up. It's on a table stand, right?
Right?
And all I do
Here we go.
Listen, my magnolia just stays all year.
is add a bow. It's got the little thing back here, and I
There
just
you go.
I just do this right here. Put it
Simple.
on there. Very simple. If I really wanted
Probably
to
have
get
these
festive,
concones in
Oh,
your
she's getting
backyard.
fancy now.
I can add some bells if I
my
want to.
goodness.
I mean, so I don't move it. And here's another little thing I do, and it looks very Christmassy.
It's very beautiful. It's
Exactly.
very elegant.
Right. There you
Just
go.
like you.
And then the other thing, thank you. I've got this basket here of pine cones, right? It sits on a shelf. It's just very Thanksgiving, very fall, right? And so then what I do is I take these things.
I love it.
I don't move it. I just add them.
Okay.
Look at that.
Wow.
Hold this up there.
Okay, put that on the table.
Yes.
Let's make room for
You
it.
just add these things to it. Look.
Look at that.
And all of a sudden, it becomes very Christmas-like.
Oh, we have to move
And then
these.
you have your cookies ready.
Oh,
That's all right.
And then with the telecast.
Uh-oh.
There
Oh,
we
it's a
go.
telecast over?
No,
No,
we're-
no.
I love
But
it.
you can add as many as you want, as little, as much, and just.
That's gorgeous.
And I haven't taken anything down. I haven't done.
Okay, well, it's like my idea, but
There you go.
a little better.
There you go.
Better
No, not
application
better, just-
of it.
Well, you know what? Can
easy.
you then transition it to little hearts?
You can do
In
whatever
February?
you want it to, or whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Well, it's kind
Very
of small, so
simple.
you could actually put it in a closet for a while and bring it right back out.
You
I mean, it would
could.
be
You
okay.
could. I mean.
It's not like the tree where you do have to
Oh,
take the thing
Joyce.
down.
Oh my. Less is
Let me
more.
tell you, you could not put that in my closet. I've only got 2.
All right, well, since you're back, what do you do to simplify the decorating? Jean, it's back to you. You ready?
It was back to me. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm watching y'all.
It's delayed. It's delayed. So
What's
what do
the
you
question?
do to simplify your decorating?
I just don't.
There you go. Because you live in paradise, for one thing.
Oh, she can look outside and see the waterfall in her front yard. Nature.
Look at that.
I I did. Oh,
That's
wait,
all right.
Am I still there?
You're not, but you keep talking.
Wait.
We got a picture of you for this very reason. Go ahead. I can hear
No,
you.
here I am.
There you are.
No, it's me. I was getting a message in, and I went to flip it off.
Yeah.
You know,
That was
not
one of the
back
things
up,
I forgot to tell you.
but
Turn your notifications off. We'll talk about that's the next. Somebody make me a list when you're calling in. All right.
I should have thought of it, but I didn't. It was kind of hectic. No, I just do very minimal decoration. We've got a trunk that came over on the boat with one of my family people brought it over on the boat, and so every year it's green. So what's hard about this? So I bring it upstairs and I fill it with lights, and we have a Christmas trunk instead of a tree. We have the Christmas trunk, and we just pile ourselves. We sit around the trunk.
Great. Christmas trunk.
Okay, Christmas trunk. I like it. I don't have a better idea.
We
than
may
that.
have to do that this year.
Yeah,
All right,
I like
Beverly,
that.
how about
My
you?
house.
I'm sorry, you guys are going to hate me.
No, we're not.
You
Yo,
guys
you do
are
it
gonna
all,
hate
don't
me.
you? She does not simplify it. That's the
I
end.
have got to have a real tree.
That's fine.
So we go
Yeah.
out and we get a real tree.
Yes.
And in fact, 2.
So you don't leave it up for 5 years.
No, I don't leave it up.
That's why she said, "Is it real, Joyce? Is it real?"
Hey, I love the smell of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I do too.
Can I just come to your house for Christmas?
You may.
Yes.
You may. I open the door.
We're
Come
all
on.
going to her house.
Come on. Come on down from that mountain. We've got some tea for you too. But yeah, we decorate the tree, and I've got ornaments on it from when my kids were little, and they're grown folk now. And my granddaughter, we get her involved in it. She's 5 and with the decorating stuff.
That's beautiful.
Gotta have the real tree.
That's
You know,
beautiful.
Well, in a little bit, we're going to talk about, as part of what you decide to do and not to do, what means the most to you. And that means the most to you, and so it's things you should do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I just thought of something like that I'm going to have to figure out how to do this year because we're in the middle of remodeling. But when Kevin was a little boy, I don't know if Kevin's watching, but when he was a teeny little boy, McDonald's came out with these 101 Dalmatians
Yes.
things in the little
Ornaments.
Happy Meals.
Like a little toy.
And Kevin and I collected all 101 different ones and matched them to the poster. And so every year we have a 101 Dalmatian tree. And I'm going to have to find that box because I'm now kind of sitting here thinking that it wouldn't really be Christmas at our house with at least that tree
That's beautiful.
put up somewhere. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so my mom is watching, and she wants me to talk
Hi.
about. Hey, Mom.
Hi, Ada.
She wants me to
Hi.
talk about the
Hi,
anniversary
Ada.
tree.
That's her mom.
So when my mom and dad were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary, they got married on Christmas Eve. Okay,
Oh,
I wish I had
wow.
thought to bring in these pictures, and I didn't. So that's the show for next year. My sister-in-law and I, we all collected family photos and made ornaments with photos. Okay, and one of the ways we did this was I went to various places and found ornament frames or things that you could make, and I made sure that I sent one to everyone so we had the little 3 thing going on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we had the best time with that. It was very, very special. And we couldn't keep it a secret, so we ended up the night before the party, my mom helped us finish making the decorations and decorate the tree. So after that was over, she found this iron tree that's just got iron arms. And so she keeps her, and it had a 50th wedding anniversary top. It had 50, and it had, I did a cutout of a wedding picture of them for a crown, for a cone at the top. And she keeps it up all the time.
That's
It was
beautiful.
really sweet.
Yeah.
So if I did do something different, I would try to do some kind of photo ornament tree because it
That's
was
pretty
really
Yeah.
That was special.
Yeah,
I
that
remember
sounds
that.
awesome.
It
Wow.
was special. So thanks, Mom, for reminding me. She says keep your anniversary tree up all year. You don't have to. She puts it like a bow on it or something.
I love it.
Okay, let's talk about how to keep it simple when you're entertaining. Your menus, your food, or what do you do about that, Pam?
Oh man. So there are some things that you cook that are always better the next day. Or like, so I cook in advance. You know, I just know, if I know I'm going to have an event on a certain day, I just start in advance. And I'll freeze some things, or just, you know, just I'm ready to kind of pull it out. The day of, the only things I'll do on the day of are things that I've decided to have catered. You know, if there's some special little petit fours or something like that, just that I want to look special on my table, I'll order those and I'll pick those up. Specialty breads, things like that. But for the most part, I cook in advance. To me, that's just the easiest way, because I have learned to enjoy my events. Hello. Yay. You know, I just, for many years of my life, I did all the running around. What do you need? Just all over the... I'm having a good time. I've got my glass in my hand, my napkin and my appetizer in the other, and I am socializing and having fun. And the only way to do that is to get things done in advance.
I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a tip here, okay? This is a simple appetizer, and I want to do it before I forget. You can do it in advance if you want, but you can do this 50 seconds in advance, all right? So you get your little cream cheese, which I do recommend you let soften.
Okay.
You pour some caramel sauce over it, and you have some of those Townhouse pretzel crackers where they're like Townhouse on one side and pretzel on the other.
I've never even seen that.
Boom. Everybody will eat every drop.
Wait, so, okay, what cracker is that?
It's a pretzel, Townhouse pretzel cracker. So,
Okay, so
it's
pretzel
slightly
cracker.
curved, and on one side it's salty pretzel-y, and on the
Okay.
other side it's crackery.
Ah.
And it is the best accompaniment.
And you put some cream cheese and then drizzle some caramel
No, you
over
just
it?
pour that stuff on there.
Just
Don't
pour it,
get
just pour it.
fancy.
No drizzle in it.
Pour
You know I have a
Open
tendency
the jar
to...
and pour it on
drizzle.
there.
I want to drizzle.
Okay?
Dip it in there
No,
already.
you want more caramel than that. And boom, okay? Now we'll eat it all. Okay?
Wow, okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Good to
All
know.
right, there you go, Peggy.
I don't entertain.
There you go. That works.
I just walk with my friends and invite them in, and I give them coffee or water, and that's pretty
works.
much. However,
That's fun.
in my actually, eventually I'll entertain again, but in my entertaining days, I will say Joe's mom was a really good military wife, and she taught me a lot of recipes that you could just keep in the freezer, and if a bunch of people dropped over, pop it out and cook it. And so, so the freezer was an easy thing for appetizers. and
Dang,
stuff
I
like
came
that.
along too late. I could be eating out of your freezer all the time.
I might get to that phase in my life again someday.
No, we're good.
Okay.
Beverly?
Once again, hate me.
Oh,
Show next year.
we're coming to her house.
I'm going to her house. It's going to smell good, not just the tree, but the food.
Go
We
ahead.
overcooked.
Beverly, you're just going to have to enjoy that tree because you're not getting any invitations from this crowd.
I know. I'm telling you. Thanksgiving, we had 2 macaroni and cheeses. You know, the family, I don't know if we like his better than hers. Let's have them both. You know? So we're not
That's
simplifying.
That's good.
Whatever you want to bring, put on the table, we're going to eat it all.
I love it.
So,
I love it. That's awesome.
I like that.
Yeah.
I will say that the thing I enjoy the most, well, I enjoy many things, but one of the things I enjoy the most is cooking with my sons or with my family. So, so we just decide after they get here what we're doing. Sometimes we start having conversations ahead of time, but
Right.
we just decide when they get here.
Well, you know, potlucks are the best. I mean, when you
Potlucks
want to
are the
have
best
like
because
neighbor
they're-
friends
Yeah, I
over and
agree.
friends, you know what? Come on over,
Bring
bring
a
your
dish.
favorite covered dish, a bottle if you choose, and there's a party.
There it
I
is.
just read an article, and this is about simplifying too. So it did talk about the fact that if you don't enjoy cooking big meals for people, then that has sometimes turned you into a person who doesn't entertain. And the fact is, really, the people are coming for your company. And if you
Yes.
turn it into a potluck or something simple, then you'll have the fellowship, which is really
Cream
what's most
cheese,
important.
caramel,
There you go.
and
got
crackers.
it.
You're good.
I got
You're
it.
good.
I got it.
Okay. Jean, what do you do?
Well, now, I've already told y'all, I just write down strips. But when it comes, and I do that, but when it comes to food, I do make everybody send me a complete menu for one meal, and they have to send me the grocery list too. And I get the groceries, and then they have to they're responsible for cooking that one meal. And then we have on our, like Christmas dinner, we have the traditional things, like my son Kip always makes pecan pies, and my daughter Allison always makes Senator Russell sweet potatoes, and they have to sign the cookbook. So we've got this cookbook that you can't hardly read anymore because they're bad to drip all over it. And then they have to sign it and date it. So we've got
Oh,
Going
that's a
back
neat
decades,
idea.
I have a take on that. So it's not nearly that fancy, but I have a cookbook that if you open it up, it has plastic sleeves for recipes and things, and there's a post note for every single year for Christmas, the longer ones, okay, the longer line ones, for every single holiday or event, and it'll be dated, and this was the menu, guys, and I don't know how many of the years the menu's the same, but it's
cool.
not it's
Those
not
are good memories.
We
did something similar to that at Thanksgiving. We did have 34 people from Joe's family at Thanksgiving all gather together, and everybody kind of did their favorite parts of different meals and stuff like that. They didn't assign me any cooking, and I don't really know why.
I don't know why either, Peggy. Okay, let's talk about obligations. So I'm going to start with Beverly. All right? What do you do with the things that you feel obligated to do? Have you tamed those? Do you carry on and fulfill them all? We're talking Christmas cards. Do you feel like you have to bake for 5 days? What do you do with that?
The holidays are exciting for me. I love.
This is why you retired.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you could do.
But there are things that I let go of that mean a lot to me. But I can't tell you the last time that I got a whole stack of Christmas cards and mailed them out. I'm back in that now thing. I'd rather call you. If I think about you, I need to call you. And I don't want it to be one card a year. You might not be around, to get that card.
Right.
So I don't do cards like I used to. I do feel obligated, when you tell me something that you need or want, then that puts a guilt trip on. My mother is the best in the world with guilt tripping me,
I have a whole subtopic about guilt.
Guilt, oh my gosh. So,
we're going to let Jeanne lead
whatever
that
is, usually if they say, I need it or want it, or can we have this dessert for, the dinner, or can we go to this event, or, we're usually trying to do what everybody wants to do. So, obligation.
You just
make sure everybody is having fun.
All right.
I'm pooped. They're having a great time.
How about you, Peggy? How do you manage obligations, or what you feel are necessary things?
I think that truthfully, we just think of the things that are most important, and I guess I have fewer people. Well, my kids are older too, so there's not little ones, and that changes things a lot too. But I think I just limited the number of people, and I also would rather go to lunch with somebody or do something. I'd rather spend more experiences now. Right. After you go through purging and downsizing your house, then you don't want any more stuff. And so now it's more about experiences, and I'd rather spend that time with people. So it depends on what kind of obligation. I don't always feel obligated to go to every celebratory party and stuff that I'm invited to anymore. But
you have learned to say no.
Yeah, I have learned to say no, because see, if I go to someone's party, then I have to entertain, and then
or not
I
to
have
respond,
to invite back.
or not to respond. Which actually she always responds, but she'll tell you that if I don't respond, that means no.
That's good to know.
It just means I haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah. I think for me, it goes back to what we were sharing before we got on the air about just having a peaceful heart.
Right.
I just have learned in my own life's journey that it's whatever I have a peaceful heart about, I'm supposed to be doing. So I do Christmas cards every year. It's a tradition. It's always pictures of my family, so you get to watch us grow through the years, and our family looks forward to them. It's usually the first card they get because I mail it the day after Thanksgiving. And
that type
A. I never listened to that.
So crazy, right? I love.
Are we going to talk about guilt next?
We're going to get to it.
But going to things, I love going to things, and if I can, I will if it fits in the schedule, whatever, in the budget and all that. But I just want to have a peaceful heart. I don't. If there's a sense of obligation in the sense of because someone's done something, you have to do it. I don't even live in that kind of energy, and I just don't. I just don't, and it's okay. And if you know me, you love me, and if you don't, that's okay too.
That's good. So we kind of have our connection with you is going and coming, Jean. But do you want to address the obligations? I think you're with us right now. I can definitely hear you.
Okay, good. Well, I pulled up to the intersection of could and should a long time ago. Well, a long time ago, being about 3 years ago, I guess. Well, it doesn't matter. A while back, I pulled up to that intersection, and I just dumped obligation on the side of the road and drove off and left it. And so the only thing I feel obligated to do now is to wash the sheets before somebody comes to spend the night with me.
That's fair.
That's fair.
I love it. Okay, is anybody traveling this season? Are we all at home? Are you at home? You're staying home. Yeah. We're all staying home. So we're the place people are coming. So if you're watching and you have some travel tips, how to simplify your traveling, or maybe how to make it easier on your guests, let us know. You got any thoughts about that, Jean?
Any thoughts on traveling? Well, I just live out of suitcases now.
I was going to
You do travel a lot, so I think you are the.
I don't even use drawers. I only have half of the two closets. I have half of one. Andy owns one by himself and then half of the other one. And so I keep everything in. All my clothes are by seasons in bags in suitcases. So I just swap out seasonal bags, put them in a storage trunk, that Christmas trunk. And,
that is the most useful trunk. That is the most multi-purpose thing.
Yeah.
I love it.
My ancestors had no clue when they left me that trunk. So,
all right. So just basically keep it simple. All right. You want to talk about guilt?
Me?
Yes, you. Did
Well,
you leave that on the side of the road too?
Yeah, I did. Now, I'm not above trying to make other people feel guilty every now and then. I mean, just family people.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I said that out loud.
You did.
They're not watching. It's okay. It's okay.
No,
I'm taking notes.
I think that I just try to live. It's kind of like regrets. I decided a real long time ago that I was just going to live flat out, so I didn't have any regrets, because those things just bother me. Regrets just bother me. They keep me awake at night. So then guilt is kind of a synonym to me for regrets. So I just live in such a way. I'll say I'm sorry if I need to, but I kind of quit saying I'm sorry if the weather's not somebody's liking, or if the snow didn't melt fast enough. I kind of quit taking on the burdens of the world, and let some people be responsible for their own level of happiness and contentment. But
absolutely. That's awesome.
That sounds awesome.
Awesome.
Anybody have anything to add to that? I don't know that you can.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about your favorite traditions, the things that have stood the test of times, the things that you look forward to the most. Because I think when you simplify, you can spend more time on the things that you love. Pam?
Well, I will say that this year when we put up our tree, I found myself very emotional for a couple of reasons. My sister is no longer with us. But it was when my son, who is 6'4", just put the topper just put it on the tree.
Just didn't have to have
he just stuck it there.
Yeah.
And my youngest, who's taller than me, they would just... And there was a time when they were so little, and they were like, "Mommy, can I get the stool? Can I stand on the stool next? Can I?" And that, so I just found myself very emotional. Just we put up our tree together. That's a thing. Like, we have to put it up together. Our ornaments are amazing because, of course, it's all the ornaments they've made through the years.
Right.
And it's just incredible to me. And the Cheetah Girls Christmas has to be playing in the background. And we dance and we sing and we try to memorize the 12 Days of Christmas song. And it's a lot of singing and fun and laughter and the best hot cocoa made with milk and lots of whipped cream. And that's a thing. That is what we do.
What's your favorite tradition, Jean?
Well, I'd have to say it's the flamingos.
The flamingos. Why am I not surprised?
My mother, of all people, my mother does not do things like this, but back in, I don't know when, because I don't track chronological time, because that just takes up more brain bandwidth than I'm willing to devote to it. But it was a while back. We got up one morning, and we had Santa and his, I don't know how many, flamingos stuck in our front yard. And so since then, and she had this whole band.
Okay, the audience can see the visual, but we couldn't see it till I shared it. So that's a lot of flamingos.
She had been collecting all year, and she had this whole little band of elves, because my mother cannot keep a secret. So she told everybody around town, like one year we were going on a cruise, and so she told everybody in the grocery store, we're going on a cruise, don't you want to go? And so one year, this woman that she didn't know said, well, sure. And so the lady went on the cruise with us, because my mother was saying, we're going on a cruise, don't you want to go? And so the strange woman said, yeah, I think I will.
I would be the strange woman.
So then my mother said she was going to put Allison with this woman. And I said, oh, no. You invited this woman. And so then mother comes knocking on my door the first night, asking if she can leave her pocketbook in there, because she believes this strange woman's going through her stuff. Anyway, that's just to let you know, my mother cannot keep secrets. She's going to do something. She's going to tell everybody. And so she told everybody. So we had this whole band of little elves that gathered in our front yard about 3 a.m. And they just, some of them were like half lit, and which was good because it was cold. And they were probably the ones who got them in the ground the best. And so then the next year, we kept the flamingos, and we took them to my sister's yard, and we made we rolled little cigarettes out of construction paper. We let these flamingos trash their front yard. These flamingos partied in my sister's front yard.
The original elf on the shelf.
And
so where do
these?
Where are they going to be this year?
I can't tell you.
Okay. You get your own show, G.
That's so rich. That is so rich.
Okay.
Just know we have fun with our mingos. One year I had to use those tie things, that you can't cut off with
zip ties. Zip ties.
Yeah, those. I had to use those and clip them to the front doorstep, because we'd put them out, and then we went to the Waffle House to get something to eat. We came back, and somebody had stole all of our mingos. And so we had to, go to drastic measures.
Okay, that is a very unusual tradition. I don't think I can top it. How about you, Peggy?
I know I can't top that one.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, I think that's
I'm back to my old pine tree for Christmas, and that's all I got.
I do actually, for our family, cook a traditional Christmas turkey and everything. Okay. So not to let you guys think I never cook anything.
Okay.
Of course, Joe doesn't eat meat anymore, so that's had a little twist onto the tradition. But I do every year look forward to cooking that whole meal. It's a fun day for me to do that.
Now my granddaughter really showed me what tradition can mean in a family, because she's only 5, okay? But she saw me pulling out the ornaments and holding on to some that I told her, no, we can't put these on yet. And, well, what are they? She starts looking at them. Well, they're so old, Gigi. What's up with the ornaments? And I said, well, this is your Uncle Walter when he was about your age. And this is your mom when she was your age,
Right.
And so she's looking and she says, well, I don't have one in there. I said, well, you better get started. The next day she comes home from school. Now we've got a candy cane hanging on the tree and some little Christmas balls. So the tradition goes on.
That's beautiful.
There you go.
Yes.
I actually don't know what my favorite thing is. There's been lots of different things at different times over the years. But
it changes.
usually we get together with as many of all the extended family as can get together, and we play games. And so and we play vicious, complicated board games that are memorable, and vicious
and complicated.
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there have been moments that we all can remember from all those games. That's probably one of my favorite things. Yeah, but, every family has their own thing, and also on this tradition is changing. But my oldest son is usually at home with us on Christmas Eve. And when they were growing up, we would always watch a movie on Christmas Eve. And one year, and for many years, my grandmother would come and stay with us at Christmas. And one year, I don't know why we did this, but we were looking for the movie, and we decided to watch Die Hard, which is actually a Christmas movie. But it happens during Christmas, during a Christmas office party.
Okay. Right.
Anyway, we watch this usually at some point during the season because my grandmother, after about, I don't know, 10 minutes into the movie, she just declares in a huff, "This is not a Christmas movie." And so we have to watch just at least enough so that someone says that. It's hilarious. So
Indeed.
that's our thing. But, you know, we miss her and miss that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, Joyce.
What?
Joyce.
Yes. Did I miss
I gotta
something? You
ask
got more than flamingos over there?
Mm.
No. I just wanted to throw this in because you said games. And so one year as a gift, I made the Hewell-Ballard family game. And so it's a board game.
Of course you
and
did.
And it's got everything. And I'm the only one with a memory. And so I always win.
Oh, the person that designed the game does always
Love
win.
it.
I like it.
Love it.
Yeah, that's a good
Usually
one.
the people at our house who brought the game win because they actually know how to play. All right, Beverly, tell us a little bit about grandparents and kin raising children, and let's go back over how people can help if they have a heart to reach out to some of the family members that end up taking care of children they weren't planning to take care of.
Well,
That's essentially what that is, isn't it?
you've pretty much described it in a nutshell. These are kin that have the heart to take care of their loved ones instead of them going into foster care or the system, as we might call it. And these are usually relatives that have done like Beverly and put in their 40-plus years and thought that they would be able to enjoy retirement, and instead they're going back to find out what the school system requires them to do, exactly what the health department requires them to do, and they're doing it out of pocket.
And there's more and more people in this situation now. And actually last week we had Michaela Guthrie and Sarah Booth from Christian City and the foster program, Crossroads foster program out there. And in researching for that show, I realized that one of the things that's really driving the increase in the number of kids in foster care of any kind, whether it's family or otherwise, is the opioid crisis.
It is. It is indeed.
More and more adults are just not able to care for their kids. So how can we help grandparents and kin raising children?
You can help by being a sponsor, by donating. Everything that we receive, 100% of donations go to the families. And so whether it's through the food that they're eating, the clothing, the transportation, health issues, a donation to Grandparents and Kin Incorporated.
And I think we have some information about that, right? We're going to put that on the screen for you so that you can reach out to Beverly or to Karen or the other folks at Grandparents and Kin and help them out. It's a wonderful organization, growing. You know, it's just a fact of our time, growing faster than we would like. Peggy, tell us a little bit about Clothes Less Traveled and what's happening there.
Well, I'm very excited about Clothes Less Traveled. They actually called and asked me to be on the board a couple years ago, and I didn't have time, but I called them back and asked them if I could join once we sold our business. So right now, we are revitalizing the store. I have to say soon, I think I can give a sneak peek to say we'll have new lighting there.
Oh, that's exciting.
And there's a lot of new merchandising going on there. And we are collaborating with Fayette Woman magazine. So if you look in the back of the magazine, you'll see some
exciting stuff
fashion
coming.
show things from our volunteer thing. But something that's topical for this Christmas, I would say, is first of all, I think we sell over 200 Christmas trees a year from the Clothes Less Traveled. So we have a giant Christmas shop, and it's probably on
40
sale
cents.
now.
40
cents. But then the second thing I want people to know is that during January, when all the other stores are a little depleted because people have gone and bought all the stuff and they're still restocking, Clothes Less Traveled is the recipient of a lot of purging and re-gifting things that people got that they didn't really love. So we will be packed to the gills
in January.
So that means you could come and shop, but also we love our volunteers. So, and we're on Highway 74 in Peachtree City. If you haven't been there, you should come. We have 25,000 square feet.
So
Wow.
I will give you a little sneak peek of what's coming. I spent 3 hours at Clothes Less Traveled last Wednesday preparing for a year's worth of fun, okay? And 2 of those hours I spent taking photos of some of the staff there in outfits that we put together totally from the floor, okay? So I don't remember, did I drop you that outfit? Because head to toe, I have this, one of my favorites is a beautiful gal named Brooke Childers, who is in a gorgeous outfit. It's got this cape top, Chico's glittery silver thing.
I saw
so
it. Yes,
pretty.
it's gorgeous.
And a little
yes.
flowing black skirt that came from the Gap. Beautiful Milani shoes, jewelry. The whole outfit was $25. Jewelry, shoes, top, and pants.
Wow.
She looks stunning.
I guess that's awesome.
So you know what? Your budget will go a lot further.
It sure will.
Indeed.
It sure will.
We're going to be exploring fashion trends from Clothes Less Traveled for the next year. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's gonna
I'm
be
looking
great.
forward to it.
Wow.
So if you don't know where Clothes Less Traveled is, it is next to Gilroy's on Highway 74 South.
Right.
All right, Miss Jean, tell us a little bit about what's going on with the 70273 project.
Well, we're still commemorating the people, and we're still commemorating the people that were murdered back in 1940, and we're still celebrating the people who we know and love. Blah blah. We're still celebrating the people we know and love who live today, who would have received the dreaded 2 red X's were at 1940 in Germany, and we have a lot of volunteer opportunities there too. Peggy could speak to the record keeping. She's headed up that. I curl up in my little ball when people say the word, and I can't even follow it. It won't follow in my spreadsheets.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm in charge of the landscape-oriented tables that we're using to track every single block that comes in.
Wow.
So I'm going to help you out for a second here. For those who are watching who may not know about the 70273 project, it's an international textile art project that encompasses art, history, quilts and quilting, leadership, creativity, social justice, disabilities, civic engagement, and more, as people from around the world come together to commemorate the 70,273 people with disabilities who were murdered by the Nazis between January of 1940 and August of 1941, while the project also raises awareness of people with disabilities today. We do what we can to encourage not just respecting but embracing differences and learning from each other. So people from around the world have made quilt blocks that have been turned into quilts, and the idea is to get 70,273 of these blocks put together into quilts. It's an enormous project that only someone like Jean would take on, and I only know one Jean. I know a lot of ways. I only know one Jean, so I know you're busy. What's the most helpful thing that people could do for you right now? It's the end of the year. If they want to get involved in something, maximize their end of year giving, how can they help you?
Well, they could give their time. Talk to Peggy or me about entering in the landscape-oriented tables. We need that. We still need quilt blocks, and we could use money. It does
always, because it costs
expenses.
money to have exhibits all over the world and to bring all these people together. So that's great.
We have a lot of shipping costs. So
yes,
and I
a
just,
lot of shipping costs.
So if anyone wants to know more about that, what's the web address?
It's it has to have the in it, the70273project.org.
Okay, so if you want to know more about that, you can visit the70273project.org. I want to circle back around to Clothes Less Traveled because, again, I know about Clothes Less Traveled. Everyone at this table knows about it, but maybe you don't.
Right.
Clothes Less Traveled is more than a store. It's a thrift shop that serves the needs of our community by operating a thrift store which promotes volunteerism, sharing of goods, and clothing at affordable prices, benefiting qualified individuals and community nonprofit organizations. So what that means is, when I get around to finally cleaning out my closets and stuff, I can take everything to Clothes Less Traveled, where it gets sold at an incredibly good price, and then all of the proceeds, after the modest expenses of operating the store, all of the proceeds are donated back to nonprofits in this community. In the last year, they've given away nearly $700,000 worth
I bet.
of money to grantees, nonprofits in this community. When they write big checks, you know the big check picture everyone takes? When Close Less Travel writes a big check, it's a big check.
Yes,
it's not just a physically big check. It's a big check. Tens of thousands of dollars.
Yes, it is.
So nothing makes me feel better than to know that, you know, that wasn't doing me any good anyway, and it got turned into something good right here in the community. No slam to any other thrift organization, but to know that my dollar stays right here in Fayette County. You know, it does cross the line slightly for Christian City and for the Noonan Coweta Pregnancy Center, I think. But
we have some. Well, we do pull in
you
from
may have
Coweta, a little bit of South Fulton, but it's primarily Fayette County.
Primarily Fayette County, and you know this area. So I just love that. I want to make sure we know that.
I should put a really quick plug out because I was working on it today, is that we have for students in high school who volunteer at the store, we give away big checks in a scholarship competition too. And it is a merit-based scholarship, but they get a lot of extra points if they volunteered in the store more than 40 hours over 4 years. And so I would encourage students who are looking for somewhere to volunteer to contact the Close Less Travel.
That's a great tip. If you know a student and who couldn't use a scholarship, Close Less Travel is a great place to work. So you're going to hear a lot more about that from me this year. I think it's time to wrap up. I want to thank all of you who've watched us tonight for any part of the show, or if you're watching on the replay. We appreciate you coming. We know there's a lot of things going on this time of year. You may have had a conflict. You could probably be watching a Hallmark movie, or you know, one of the classic. Is it Charlie Brown night? I don't know. We're up against, but there's so many things we're up against tonight. So I want to thank you for watching. So what's the takeaway? I'm going to go around the table. I'm going to start with you, Jeanne. What's the takeaway for tonight? For you.
Is to have fun, to enjoy the holidays. Yeah, provide an opportunity for everybody else to make good memories, but keep yourself on that list.
That's good. Pam? What did someone else suggest that you're going to take home?
Well, I got to tell you, Joyce, I took some pretty wonderful notes tonight. And I got to, other than creating moments like this, right? I mean, I got to meet Beverly tonight. That's sweet. I plan to go to her house just to smell the tree and enjoy myself.
See, I'm going to go smell your tree.
Definitely. But my takeaway, honestly, is I'm going to make some of the pretzel cracker cream cheese and caramel thing.
Is that simple? And you will eat every bit of it. It is like crack.
I bet.
You will eat every bit
That's
of it.
the new Christmas crack.
Yes. Right? I mean, you can dress it up, make it fancy however you want.
I'm going to drizzle my caramel.
You go for it, but you put a glob of it over there because you're going to want it. Have it in a bowl where you can spoon it on if you have to. Peggy?
I was going to say figure out what gives you joy. So if it's entertaining, or if it's decorating, or if it's whatever, planning. Some people like that. Then do that thing. But I wrote down, and it's worth repeating, to stop at the intersection of could and should and dump all your obligations on the side. So if it feels like an obligation for you, just don't do it.
Yep.
You know, do the thing that gives you joy.
Because it will give the other people involved joy, too.
Right. It may give you joy because it gives the other people joy. But if it's something that feels like an obligation, dump that. So thanks, Jeanne. Good advice.
Beverly?
You're welcome.
It's a moment in time, and to take advantage of it, live it to the fullest. I like to say live life like it's golden. The holidays are golden, but each day, to the fullest.
Did I already talk to you, Jeanne?
Yeah, the chore
Did
ball.
I already ask you what your takeaway was? Did I?
Yes, you did.
What was it? Did I forget that quick?
No, it was to keep yourself on the list, but I'd like to change it and say it's that recipe.
That recipe. Thank you.
I want the chore bowl.
That's right up our alley.
Okay, there was one thing that I love to do every Christmas that is special to me that I meant to mention. You know, I respect totally people's different faiths and walks, and while I'm not a Catholic, probably one of my favorite times and favorite things to do during the Christmas season is to watch the midnight mass at St. Peter's Basilica and to hear the Pope. I love that. It's quiet. It's late. I mean, I know it's not actually happening at midnight, but it's happening at midnight at my house, and I love that. And I think if you haven't added that to your list of things to do, you'll really enjoy it. So it's always a good, inspiring message. And the ceremony and the beauty of the place is just incredible. And I can't remember who's responsible for broadcasting it, but they do a fantastic job. So I think my takeaway is to go for the gifts you can't wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Go for the memories. Those things last. Long after I can't remember what was under the tree, I remember the moments.
So I forget who it was you said who recommended listening to Joy 93 radio.
One of our yes.
Yeah, one of our listeners. Well, Joy, just, it makes me think of one of the things that I always share with the kids is, and I know everyone has a different, faith and walk of life, so, no intentions of offending. So for me, Joy, Jesus, others, and then yourself. And, he's in my family, he's the reason for the season.